The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The pain is back, Jet fans. Jets dropped the 2-8 after a loss to New England on Thursday Night Football. Joe Benigno will join us. We'll get his thoughts on the game and where the Jets go from here. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
How do you think Justin played overall?
There's some things that he could have done better. Again, we do have to watch the tape.
Oh, there it is. You got to bench him. He stinks.
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Click the like button. That is the thumbs up button. And make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. If you're watching this before 1 o'clock today, I am in for Michael K on ESPN New York from 1 to 3. SNY Jets pre- and post-game analyst Connor Rogers is among my guests scheduled to join me during the show. So you can watch that on the ESPN New York YouTube show, or, of course, on the ESPN New York app or 880 AM. Let's say hello to a sports talk legend, the host of the Oh the Pain podcast, and our guy who joins us after every Jets game, the great Joe B. Joe Benigno. Joe, we're back to losing. We had almost a month in between losses because of the bye week mixed in there, but last night, another Jet loss to the Patriots in prime time.
You know, before we get to that, how is this guy, Connor Rogers? Is he a decent guy or what?
Great dude. Yeah, awesome guy.
He seems okay, you know. He seems okay. I'll tell you one thing. They were destroying Glenn last night and just killing Justin Fields, who, you know, look, I mean, the bottom line is he's not any good. You know, but let me say this, okay? And obviously it's disgusting. You knew they weren't winning last night. It was such a tough spot, you know. And, you know, maybe if this game was on a Sunday, if this would have been a Sunday game in Foxborough, maybe you would have gave him a puncher's chance. But they had no shot winning on a short week Thursday night. Drake May tore him up. I mean, I don't know what to say. You know, here's what gets me too, man. We get all excited. We get all teased. They go right down the field on the opening drive for a touchdown.
Best opening drive in years, by the way.
Right. Beautiful scripted drive. Fields runs it in for a TD, you know, and then it was really all downhill from there. You know, the defense continues to be terrible. They never force a turnover. 10 games now without an interception. It's unbelievable.
NFL record.
Well, yeah. I think the 1943 Bears, right? They went 1943. What? Sid Luckman was the quarterback. I mean, you got to be kidding. Anyway, they forced one turnover all year. The defense had no pass rush at all on May. I mean, they sacked him once, Jermaine Johnson. Quincy Williams gets a big sack to get off the field on third down. There's a defensive holding penalty on Stevens. I mean, you know, you can't. It's unbelievable. Fields hits Mitchell on a big play down the sideline. He drops it. There was another pass to Mitchell over the middle. He dropped that. You know, he missed Mitchell on a third down. Would have been a big third down conversion. He threw the ball to the wrong side of him. I mean, we could go on and on and on, bro. He fumbles the snap late in the game to really seal the loss. Just fall on the damn ball. What are you doing trying to pick it up and run? I mean, oh, God. You know, what can you say, bro? What can you say?
It's just another game where I truly think that if they made the change at halftime to Tyrod, I don't know if they would have won. They're only down 7 at halftime because New England misses the kick at the end. But they're in the game. You have a chance. Fields had 23 yards passing at halftime. And I get it. There were some drops by Mitchell. Sure, 3 total drops in the game last night for the Jets. But it's like, how many games do we need to see the same thing before this head coach realizes Justin Fields can't play? Willie Colon, you mentioned SNY before. Willie Colon said what we're all thinking last night. Justin Fields is not an NFL starting quarterback in this league. He's not.
No. Well, look, here's the problem to me. They gave him $30 million guaranteed money for 2 years, right? And this is his guy. You know, they threw Rodgers out of the building. And this is Glenn's hand-picked quarterback. And to me, that's why he's playing. It's funny. They were talking after the postgame show last night. I think Bart brought it up about, this is their way of tanking. To continue to play Justin Fields at quarterback to maybe get the first pick in the draft. I mean, maybe it's true. I mean, oh my God, bro. And you know what? The sad part is, I mean, he did some decent things in the game. He ran the ball well. There's no doubt about it. Then they got away from him running the ball for a while. You knew they were going to key on Breece Hall. I didn't expect to get too much out of him last night. But why did they not throw the ball to him? They threw 2 passes to him all night out of the backfield. Why don't they throw the ball to Breece Hall more? I don't get it. I just don't get it, bro. I really don't.
I'm right there with you. And, to me, what's so difficult now going forward, like, how do you evaluate the guys that are on this team if your quarterback can't complete a pass? Like, I think Tanner Engstrand, the offensive coordinator, at times has looked pretty good. I thought the opening script last night on that drive was awesome. But it's like, do we truly know what he is if he's handcuffed with his play calling because his quarterback can't execute a pass? There were a couple plays last night where I thought they schemed things up and Fields just couldn't make the throw. So I almost just need to see Tyrod so I could get a better idea if Mechie could be a part of this next year. Mitchell, if he can learn how to catch, could he make some plays? Like, where's Arian Smith? Can we get him involved? Like, I've seen enough from Justin Fields. We cannot continue to do this. And the head coach after the game, trying to say that, well, we don't want him to run too much because we don't want him to get hurt. Well, I mean, you can't let him play quarterback either then, coach. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. You got to look at the tape. I look, they play hard for him. I mean, I can't say they didn't play last. They came out, they were ready to play, and they played hard. I'm not going to get
embarrassed. At least they didn't get embarrassed.
No, they didn't get embarrassed. They did play hard. You got to give them that. I thought the offensive line played pretty well last night. I know most of it was Fields, but they ran for about 125 yards or whatever it was in the game against a team that's only given up 80 yards a game on the ground or whatever. I thought Mechie was good. He caught a touchdown. Guy fell down, but he caught a touchdown. He caught another third down conversion as well. So, he showed you a little signs of something. But, I mean, outside of that, that's really it. And you can't win with this guy at quarterback. You just can't win with Justin Fields. That's the bottom line.
No.
Guy throws for 116 yards in an NFL game. I mean, come on. How are you going to win? Can't win.
You can't win unless you play absolutely perfect. And even in this game last night, Joe, I mean, some of just the mistakes they made, right? How about the 12 men on the field after the TV timeout? Like, what? How does that happen? We obviously talked about the lack of turnovers, breaking an NFL record in that category. But you have Tony Adams basically taking an interception away from his own guy, and Quantez Figures. It's just they didn't play smart enough last night to have a chance to win, even with the quarterback being as bad as he was.
Yeah, the mistakes continue. There was a big penalty on Brownlee where for no reason he slammed the guy down right in front of the official on a play where I think it was like a couple yard loss. Tippmann had a bad penalty when a roughing penalty after the play was over. How about this? This was a big part of the game too, and we talked about enough. So they're down 14-7. They stopped New England on the first 3 and out on the first series, right, of the second half. They get the ball. They're moving a little bit. They get a first down, and then Fields gets a horrific intentional grounding penalty. I mean, where was he thrown? There's nobody there. Throw the ball to the sideline, just chuck it out of bounds towards somebody. I mean, and that killed that drive. That killed the drive, right?
Right.
There.
They were just in the New England territory at that time. And, they were only down 7. You had a chance. And he had Mason Taylor to his left. If he just threw it near his feet, they're not going to call that. Like, he ran back into the pocket, too, to pick up that intentional grounding. Like, you never see that. It was that's what I mean. Like, and people, I don't know if you encounter this, Joe, the people that just blindly defend Justin Fields. I don't get it. He's not our guy. The Jets didn't draft him. He's in his 5th year. He's paid $30 million guaranteed. He's had all these opportunities. I mean, the Jets are being mocked by Herb Street and Michaels on the broadcast last night when Justin Fields passed 100 yards. Like, that's the barometer. We're deep into the 3rd quarter, and this guy is under 100 yards when he gets it into the 4th at the end of the game. It's like, oh, this is notable for him. Like, what a joke. How could we have a quarterback that can't throw for 100 yards in a game? That last night was the 5th time he's had 116 passing yards or less in 8 starts. That's insane.
It's unbelievable. And the coach, like I said, I don't think the coach has any intention of benching him. That's the sad part. He's not going to start Tyrod Taylor against the Ravens. He's not. It just, and he continues to be an ass to the media. This week with the stuff with Cimini, he's ripping Cimini. The report out about Wilson. I mean, Cimini was right. I don't particularly love Cimini, but Cimini was 100% right. The guy's on IR. He's out 3 to 4 weeks. It's 4 weeks now with the IR. I mean, come on.
What does he think that like this is going to work in New York? That like he could control the messaging? Find me the coach that was an a-hole right away before he won anything. I can't. That's what I just have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah.
Like at least Belichick and Parcells won before they pulled this act. Like what has Aaron Glenn done at now 2-8 where he thinks he can act this way? Find me a coach that acted this way at the beginning and it actually ended up working out. I can't think of anyone.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. It's just look. We got to. You feel good about all this draft capital, but I was talking to Brian Costello earlier. I'm gonna have him on my podcast Monday, so let me promo that. He's coming back from Foxborough, and how can you have any confidence in his coach? I asked him, because I always ask Brian every time we get a new coach. I ask him. I say, Brian, is Aaron Glenn the coach here in 4 years? He goes, no.
Did you give him the scream? The famous Joe B. Oh!
No, but he's right. I mean, what is Aaron Glenn show? Like I said, he had him ready to play. I'm not going to say they haven't played for him because they have. It's not like they're not trying. It's not like they're mailing games in or anything like that. But what makes me think that this guy's going to be the coach in 4 years? He's given me no reason to think that. None.
Totally agree. And I think beyond Glenn, who I don't think is going anywhere, even if they finish, 2-15,
no,
for example.
Not this year. No.
So this coaching staff, I mean, is Steve Wilkes coming back? How do you bring back this defensive coordinator when the defense is this bad? And I get it. They traded Sauce and Quinnen, but they were awful before that. And name me the player who's improved on defense or has looked the same that they did under Saleh's staff. It's all gotten worse. And to me, I don't understand how they could continue to run like the same different coverage look every single week. It's like, it's so predictable. You could see the second that the Patriots got a feel for what they needed to do, they were toying with the Jets for a lot of that game. Like Drake May was cool, calm, collected. They couldn't get any pass rush on him. Right. It's like the same thing every week, unless they play the Browns or, the Bengals, they got a key stop at the end. Other than that, this defense has been bad for basically most of the season.
And these guys are wide open. That's the thing. I mean, how many wide open guys? Hunter Henry was open all night. That guy Collins was open all night.
Yep.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, there's nobody within 5 yards of these guys. It's just, they're hitting every third down. That's another thing, too. You talk about crazy stats. How about the fact, and I didn't believe this until I saw the stat, the Jets were actually 8 for 14 on third downs last night. Think about that. 8 for 14, right? Am I right? Isn't that the number? I believe it was.
I can look it up for you. Yeah, it just
and they still win that. You still never got, even when they scored the touchdown on the opening drive, you still knew they weren't winning the game. New England goes right down the field to score. They get the ball the second time they get the ball, they go right down the field to score. It's unbelievable. I don't know what to say, bro, anymore. I really don't.
Did you think that there was any chance that Glenn was going to make a quarterback change at halftime?
No. He's committed to. He's not going to. I'm telling you, bro. He's not playing Taylor against the Ravens. I will be shocked, and he's going to give you the nonsense all week. When he come back Monday or whatever, you know what he's going to do? He's going to give the same crap. Well, I'm not going to tell you who the quarterback is. I know who it is. I'm not. I mean, what is that crap? That's such BS. It really is.
Yep. It's just. I just don't understand how they looked at this and they said, yep, we want Fields $30 million. And you know what bothers me the most and why I'm so worried about them not only picking the quarterback, but then developing that quarterback? Just the arrogance they show the entire offseason this summer. I mean, they're on the record. Glenn's on the record saying Fields has never been coached up properly. We're going to let him play quarterback. Muji compared Fields to Darnold and Baker Mayfield, finding a resurgence. When in reality, Daniel Jones is actually the quarterback this year that was a failed first rounder, finding, a career renaissance elsewhere.
I would have rather had Daniel Jones. I said that too. I would have took Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is better than Fields. It's not even close.
It's just, to me, crazy that, as bad as Fields has been this year, if you look it up, he's never been this bad. And that's what concerns me about this coaching staff going forward. It's why I would like to see Taylor play quarterback just so we could get a better idea about Engstrand. Right. Because if he's going to be here as the play caller next year, the worst thing we could do is give that new rookie quarterback no chance to actually develop.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. Look, I don't know how much. Look, I don't think Engstrand called a bad game last night. I didn't particularly like the reverse with Williams throwing that pass on the first drive, but they got, to Fields, but they wound up scoring on it anyway. But I didn't have a great problem with what he did. They did run Fields a lot more last night than they have. I mean, there was a lot of design runs for him. I thought they got away from it a little bit more after the first drive. Then they got back to it again. But so I don't think Engstrom called a bad game last night.
No,
I mean, how about Mitchell dropped some big passes? That pass down the sideline to Mitchell, that was a big drop. What was that, the second drive of the game? I think it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was one of the rare great throws we saw from Fields last night, too.
That's right. Yep.
I'm with you. I don't think Engstrom's been terrible either. He's learning on the job. I agree. The criticism of not getting Brees more, receptions last night, more targets. But it's just, it just feels like he's so handcuffed with what he could do, because at times he is calling the right play and Fields just can't complete a pass. I mean, Woody shouldn't have said it as the owner, but he's not wrong with what he said about Justin Fields.
He's not wrong at all. And there's times when Fields just doesn't want to throw the ball. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, they didn't sack him. What do you have? Really was only one sack. I think they said two, but I think the other one was the fumble. And that's the other thing. He fumbles the snap, just fall on the ball.
Right.
What are you doing? You don't try to pick it up and make a play out of it. I mean, come on. I mean, they weren't going to win the game anyway, but, just fall on the damn ball. So I thought the offensive line played okay yesterday. I didn't think they were bad. They're getting better. They are getting better. And one thing about this offensive line, and I got to knock on wood when they say this, these guys have played every game. There's been continuity. I mean, this has been the same offensive line for all 10 games, which is, something to be said for that. But they haven't played bad. The quarterback is just horrible. It really comes down to that. It really does, bro.
That's where it starts. I mean, everything the Jets do this offseason has to be about, getting their quarterback. And right now, Joe, you mentioned the draft positioning. I mean, they're back up to number 3, and I don't think Tennessee's taking a quarterback. So if you're one of the people that thinks it's either Mendoza or Simpson, right now you're in line to potentially get, one of those guys without having to even move up and take one of those players.
Right. Yep. Yeah, no, they're going to have their chance at one of the big quarterbacks. And even if they don't, even if somehow they drop to 5 or 6 somehow, if they do win three more games or so, let's say, you got to, if you want the guy, you got to go up and make the move to get him. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? The only team right now, you look at this, I guess the Raiders probably need a quarterback too when you look at it. Is Cleveland going to draft another quarterback? They just drafted Gabriel and Sanders. I think they'd give Shador a shot before they draft another quarterback. Maybe I'm wrong. The Giants don't need a quarterback. Tennessee's not drafting one. The Saints are. I think Vegas would draft a quarterback. But out of the top the teams right now that are in the mix for the Jets for the higher draft choices, they're the only teams that might draft a quarterback beside the Jets.
I'm right there with you. Now, as far as New England goes, does it make you sick that their rebuild was 2 years? What a joke.
Yeah, bro, 9-2, 8 straight wins. And then look at the schedule. I think the only team that they got left with a winning record is Buffalo. They already beat Buffalo in Buffalo. They're going to win the division. Let's be honest. They're going to win the division. And they got a good shot to be the number 1 seed. They got a shot at it, bro. A good shot.
It's crazy to me because we'll never know. But I always go back to the mistake Woody made after 2023. He keeps Saleh, he keeps Douglas, they keep Hackett, they keep everyone because Rodgers got hurt. Mike Vrabel was out there. The Patriots were going to go into that year with Gerard Mayo. And if Woody was only going to give Robert Saleh 5 games last year, then he should have just pulled the plug at the end of 2023. And I think Mike Vrabel would have been the Jet coach last year. And who knows where we would be right now.
Yeah, I'm not so sure Vrabel was taking that job. But that's me. I mean, look, as soon as Vrabel went, let's be honest, as soon as Vrabel went for that interview last year with the Jets, 2 seconds later, they fired Mayo and brought Vrabel in.
I'm talking 2 years ago, though, right?
No,
After
I know
2023.
I know what you mean. I know. I just don't think Vrabel would ever take the Jet job. I don't think he would. I maybe I'm wrong. I know he interviewed. I don't think he would have ever took that job.
I guess we'll never know. It's unbelievable. If you're watching live right now, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Big thank you to all the Jet fans who continue to support. We're presented by FanDuel. I mean, Joe, the line closed last night at 12.5 on FanDuel, and New England won by 13.
Unbelievable.
Of course.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
Well, if you bet the Jets last night, you're crazy. I mean, let's be honest about that. I mean, if you bet him, I mean, what were you thinking about? You know,
I mean, if you're a Jet fan at this point, you're crazy too. I mean, we're all nuts for.
well, hey, look, I've been nuts for 60 years now, bro.
It's unreal. We'll do a giveaway at the end of the stream today on a Football Friday.
There you go. Love those Name It jersey. I got that. I have exactly that jersey.
We got Namath, we got Klecko, Curtis,
got all of those.
Wayne Corbett,
I don't have
Revis,
Corbett.
Mangled.
That's the only one of those I don't have. I got to get Wayne.
You know what? I feel like I owe you a make good, Joe, after giving you an Aaron Rodgers jersey last year when the Jets were 2-1. It was all downhill after that one.
You owe me nothing, Jake. You do a great job. I appreciate coming on your show, and you know that. You know,
everyone check out the Paid with Joe. He recorded it. It will be up soon. So check that out when you get done with this. Some super chats here for Joe. If you want your comment read, now is the time. Rude writes in, do the Fields fans have no shame? They've been flooding my mentions on Twitter. Where's the self-awareness? They're almost as bad as like the Zach Wilson truthers, as I coined them a few years ago. Like to just blindly defend the quarterback. And we're talking about a guy in his 5th year. Like it's enough, man. He can make plays with his legs at times when he's gonna it could click and he can look good like Cincinnati. But he's not a starting quarterback in this league. We just got to be honest about it. It's enough.
Yeah. And I was tired of hearing Herb Street, another Ohio State guy. I was tired of hearing Herb Street kept going, well, he's such a great athlete. And, you know, he can make he can do this, he can do that. He can't understand why he hasn't really made it. I mean, give me a break. I mean, you know, and I understand he's trying to be nice about it. I'm sure he's got some kind of a relationship with Fields, like I said, because they're both Ohio State guys. But, you know, give me a break. You know what I mean, bro? Come on.
It's ridiculous. And look, he seems like a good guy. It's not, you know, personal by any means.
No, he's very nice. He seems like a very religious guy. You know, he's always talking about, you know, God and all of that. And, you know, when he had that week with Woody and he was on the floor of his closet crying and praying to God and all of that.
I was crying last night. You know, I can relate to him.
No, but he seems like a very nice guy. He seems like he's a class kid, but he's just not good. That's the bottom line.
He's just not good. Well said. Gotham Green writes in, we will win 2 more games with the power of friendship. Time to let cook so we could see what we have and don't have no reason to not use the rest of the season as evaluation. I mean, Brady Cook is the only other quarterback besides Tyrod. Mm-hmm. I'm at a point, Joe, where if they go to Tyrod and he probably will get hurt because that's his history, I would see what I have in Brady Cook. Why not? Why not?
There's no reason not to. There's no reason not to give Brady Cook a game. I could see that. Why not?
Got nothing to lose. Big fella checks in. He says Myers snaps were god awful last night, all low. It was a problem, but on that fumble, I think you said it before, Joe. It feels just fall on it. Exactly.
That's it. You tried to make a play out of it. You can't do that. Just get on the ball. All right.
100%. Jason writes in, I want to see Brady Cook give him a chance. We all know Glenn won't do that. I think you're right, Joe. I'm not even convinced with 10 days in between games now that they're definitely going to sit Fields against the Ravens.
No, he's playing. I'm telling you. Now, if you listen to that press conference, you had it on. You know, he basically exonerated him. You know what I mean? He will never say. He's never said anything bad about him. Oh, I got to look at the tape. What do you got to look at? Did you watch the game? Did you see the game? You need to look at the tape. Come on, give me a break.
And the owner would be on board with benching him after what Woody Johnson publicly said. So what do we do? What are we blindly defending Justin Fields for at this point? He's not going to be here next year.
No doubt. No doubt.
And that's the other thing too, Joe, I want to talk to you about, because there's a lot of Jet fans who I'm taking calls from already. And it's a shame I got to do this in November, but that's where we're at now. 2-8. Oh, don't get the quarterback in the draft this year because 2027 is so much better. And I just think that is such a risk to wait another year. And you could trade up and you have about 3 first-rounders and 20. Like, there's no guarantee that the teams you'd even want to be trading up for at that point will make a deal with you. The Giants tried to get Drake May.
Let me say this, and I said this to Costello when I just was talking to him earlier. Just because you draft a quarterback this year doesn't mean you can't draft one again next year.
Right.
Let's be honest. If you draft a guy, this year, which you should, and he's not the guy, and there's somebody like Arch Manning coming out, and you can get him, and you feel, look, I don't know about this guy. I'm going to draft. Why not? We've seen teams do it. We saw the Cardinals do that with Rosen and then with Kyler Murray. Why not? If you feel there's somebody there that's better than the guy you got now, by all means, draft another quarterback. I would have no problem with that. Jake. Not at all.
And look, you also could take two in the same draft. You could take someone on the first round and take someone on day
could.
3. Look at the Niners, Trey Lance and Brock Purdy. The Redskins with RG3 and Kirk Cousins. Like, to me, we've seen this so many times. And until the Jets get a quarterback,
Cleveland.
what are we talking about? Draft multiple quarterbacks if you have to. I'm not saying you do it in the first and second round, but why not? They have nothing to lose until they get that position figured out. It's the same old same.
Cleveland did it this year with Gabriel and Sanders as well. So I got no issue with that. So, like I said, if you got to draft a quarterback this year. If it doesn't look like he's the guy, take another one. You got the draft capital. I got no issue with that. None.
Jack writes in, he's in our raffle for 2 with this $10 super chat. So thank you for supporting the show. Jack, appreciate you. I actually don't feel too bad after the game. The O-line looks good. They're able to run the ball. They have all that draft capital. We know what they need. That's all true, and I want to be hopeful about that, but I just keep coming back to the head coach, and he's shown me nothing now through 10 games other than wins over a bad Browns team and the worst defense ever, that he has any feel for this job. I hope he gets better at it because I don't think he's going anywhere, but that to me is the biggest concern I have with the team, the head coach.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And to me, that's what the rest of this year is about. 7 more games to find out, is this guy any good? Do we have a head coach? And right now, we don't. I mean, he has, through 10 games, has given us no reason to think that he's the guy. He refuses to bench Justin Fields. He's an asshole to the media for no reason. I mean, the shot he took at Samini this week, like I said, I don't love Samini, but, I mean, come on. So all Samini did was report what everybody heard, that it looks like Wilson's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks, and it turns out he's right. So, I mean, come on. Right. I mean, what was Glenn doing? It's just unbelievable. And he doesn't tell us who the quarterback's going to be. It's absurd, bro.
I don't understand what his end game is with
right.
Because he's not going to get the benefit of the doubt now from the media next year. When this year, they've been pretty fair with him. They know he's in his first year. Like you were speaking to Costello, he's not going up and in on Glenn during these pressers or anything because he knows he needs to have that working relationship with him for another year. But we get to next year and they get off to a 1-6 start.
Yeah,
all of a sudden, here come the knives coming after him. He's not going to get that benefit of the doubt. It's only going to get uglier.
That's it. No doubt about it. And like I said, Costello, do we have a coach? Is he the coach in 4 years? No. But what would make me think that, bro? I mean, I don't know. I'm at a loss anymore, bro. I'm at a loss.
And this is what happens when you keep hiring first-time head coaches learning on the job. And I'm not saying Glenn can't improve. He better because we have no choice as Jet fans to root for that. But you look at the Patriots, they instantly turn it around because they brought in the right coach and you knew he was the right coach immediately. How many times are we going to continue to hire first-time coaches?
Let's not forget they got a quarterback.
Sure. But they had him last year too, right?
Did.
It's just I don't get continuing to hire these first-timers. And Woody Johnson, you're paying millions of dollars for these guys to always learn on your dime. That's what it is. They're learning on his dime every time.
Yeah. Boy, how much would I love to sit down with Woody? Give me an hour with Woody. Just me and him sitting down talking,
You see the latest stunt yesterday from Woody?
No, what was the latest stunt now?
So Woody Johnson, remember the report cards that the NFLPA does for all the teams? They vote.
Oh, yeah, and they're always – the Jets are last all the time.
So Woody last year was the only owner to get an F grade. So yesterday, there's a story out from ESPN that the NFL has filed a grievance against the NFLPA over these report cards. And the entire thing was reportedly spearheaded by Woody Johnson, who didn't like these report cards. He called them bogus. So he was rallying his fellow owners to go out there and try and file this grievance because he's upset his players actually voiced their opinion that the guy's a lousy owner when we know he is. Look what he said about Justin Fields publicly.
Yeah. No, you're right. Well, maybe maybe the owners will back him up because they love the fact that the Jets, they figure whenever we play the Jets, that's a win.
That's right.
If you're in a division, that's 2. You're just hey, let's hope they suck in perpetuity,
That's unreal. There was a quote in the story from an unnamed owner that said the only owners who complain about this are the ones who get bad grades. And it's yeah. And that's been Woody Johnson and all these different things that come out about him.
Yep. No doubt about it. No doubt.
Taylor writes in, he's in our raffle for 5. Jets offense is unwatchable. I will be bald from watching this team soon. Fields is QB 36 in the league. Davis Mills would be an upgrade. I got to be honest. Forget just Davis Mills. At times, Zach Wilson has played better than Justin Fields this year. That's how bad it's been in some of these games.
Yeah. Well, General Mills would be better than Justin Fields. No doubt about it. Don't get those Fields jersey. Anybody that's got a Justin Field, you were actually raffling one off a couple. Did anybody take that freaking jersey?
Yeah, they might be burning it now, but we did raffle away some side Fields jerseys. You're right.
Did you really? Oh my God, that's got to be in the Salvation Army already. Are you kidding?
Just like I thought Sauce wasn't going to be traded, so I had like 3 or 4 signed Sauce jerseys that I paid for future raffle prizes. Well, those are just now sitting on a shelf in my apartment.
Well, I told you I got rid of 2 of them. 2 of them went to Salvation Army. So,
the pain, as you would say. Weesack writes in, Pats found Bill, Tom Jr., Jets fan. Jets have a fan as coach. Yeah, I mean, it is pretty sickening that the Patriots have turned it around this quick.
Yeah, I know. They got a quarterback though. That's the bottom line. And he was only a rookie last year, so. And then they get the coach, and they're off and running. I mean, what else can you say, bro? They got a quarterback and a coach, and that's what you got to have.
Yep.
And we don't have either. I mean, Right now, let's be honest, the Jets have neither right now.
Cash Money Mike in the house. Why isn't the OC or any other person on the staff not talking to Glenn and letting him know we need to make a change at QB? The players and coaches need to be in Glenn's ear. Bench Fields, enough is enough. Well, I would hope the locker room will basically have a mutiny if he starts Fields next week, but I don't even know if Glenn would care at that point. He seems so stubborn with his ways.
Yeah. I think he's I'd be shocked if Taylor starts next week. I'm telling you. After hearing what he said after the game yesterday, man, he's
got to watch the tape, though. Maybe he'll watch the tape and change his mind.
Watch the tape. Yeah. What was he watching? Was he sleeping during the game? I mean, come on. Give me a break.
Watch the tape. Mike writes in, Fields almost ruined Wilson's career. We cannot continue this bleep show. Take the cap hit next year. Get another bridge. Draft a quarterback. Don't tell me about 2027.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you could draft a quarterback and still draft a quarterback in 27 too, if it's not the right guy. But right now, the biggest issue right now is the head coach. Right now is the biggest issue. And that's my biggest concern right now. It really is.
Have you ever seen a first-year coach basically lose the fan base as quickly as Glenn has? There's still people defending him, but I take calls every day for 4 hours a day on this team, Joe. And I think most people agree with us that the biggest concern is already Aaron Glenn.
Well, I mean, I could go back to Adam Gase was.
He never should have been hired. Yeah,
he never should have been hired. Right? We all knew how bad he was, and the only reason there wasn't an uproar on Glenn to me is because he was an ex-Jet,
right?
And he was
a good Jet. The down. Yep.
Right, and he was a good Jet, and he wanted the job. But, I mean, he's given us no reason to think that he's the answer at head coach. None.
Wish B in the raffle for 5. He says, we need to change ownership. This belief starts at the top. And that's the problem. I mean, unless
going?
How do you fire the owner? You can't.
Like I said, where's he going, bro? He ain't going nowhere.
His son's going to take over, too, when it's all said and done.
That's great. That's great. His son basically ran Rodgers out of town. Let's be honest. How bad was that? Let's be real. And I know Rodgers has had his struggles in Pittsburgh. I get it. He looked terrible last week against the Chargers and all of that. But we're not 2-8 if Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback. Let's be honest.
But I keep coming back to this, Joe. If Rodgers was the quarterback, all the blame would be levied at him, and it would deflect from the real problem, which I think right now is the head coach.
That's true. They would blame him. You're right about it.
You saw what happened last year. I mean, they won 5 games. It was all blamed on Rodgers. It's like, did you see the defense? You see Greg Zuerlein miss every kick? You see the fourth quarter collapses? You see the head coach be fired 5 games in and Ulbrich look completely lost?
But all I can tell you is this. Rodgers threw 28 touchdown passes last year. Only 2 Jets ever have thrown more than 28 in a season, and Joe Namath is not one of them. So, please, give me a break.
Bradley checks in.
Well, the Jets, I don't think the Jets will score 28 touchdowns this year. I mean, come
on. Fields and defense, abysmal. Glenn hasn't shown enough yet, but the first time I feel good about our OC in a long time. Players just not executing. I feel good about the offensive line if you want to highlight something on offense.
The offensive line looks like I said, and these guys are starting to gel. They're playing together. It's the same unit every week. It has been. And I think you're really starting to see some improvement there. Tippmann had a bad penalty. He had a roughing penalty, whatever it was. But they played pretty well. I mean, did they have a holding penalty yesterday? They might have had one that I can remember. But I thought overall, the offensive line is starting to play pretty well. They're starting to come together. I agree with that.
So both Simpson and AVT and Myers are all free agents. I'd look to try and keep all of them, have continuity. You have all this cap space now.
AVT, you guys heard all the time.
1 year prove it deal though, and I could draft someone. I have all these picks now. Let me draft a guard /center that could develop.
Yeah, I'm just tired of him. How many years has he been out for the year now? 3 times already?
I agree, but you could bring back Myers on another 1-year deal, and you can keep
Okay.
Simpson if you want.
Yeah, you could bring back Myers. Fasanu and Membo are locked in.
Yep, Timmons locked in.
Looks like Tippman's here. He's going to play. He's going to be here. Yeah. I mean, look, but what I've seen so far, the offensive line has been pretty good.
It feels like obviously quarterback's the biggest need. Wide receiver 2 in all likelihood is a need. We'll see if either Mechie or Mitchell could at least be like wide receiver 3 or 4. But like this is not the worst situation for a rookie quarterback next year because you have a number 1 receiver. They better keep Brees. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that because they didn't trade him, they're going to keep him.
Didn't have a big game yesterday, but Brees has got to be here.
Yep.
Brees is their best player. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't think there's any question about it. You got to keep him. You got to pay him.
I just don't think compared to what like Wilson walked into or in Darnold, I don't think this is the worst spot for a rookie quarterback. I have concerns about the head coach, but they're putting the rookie quarterback at least in a position where he has an O-line, he has some playmakers. I think Taylor's a good tight end. Like they're not starting from scratch on that side of the ball, basically.
No. And they got to fix the defense too. I mean, the secondary's terrible. They got to do something about the secondary. Maybe we got a player in Thomas. We don't know. Is he playing next week? We don't know, right? He had a concussion, right?
Yeah, if he clears it, he could be back. You knew he wasn't going to play this week.
Right.
Now, speaking of not playing, Garrett Wilson, he can't come back till the Jaguars game in December. He's going to be out 3 more games. Would you shut him down if he's healthy at that point?
No. I want to play him. I would play him. I want to win some games, bro. I want to win. I told you I would trade Wilson. And I understand you want to have a receiver there, but I'd have to think long and hard. If you got a number 1 for him too, I'd have to think about it.
Well, you would have to get at least 2 number 1s for him. It had to be like the Sauce type of deal.
2. I don't think you're getting 2.
Did you think they were going to get 2 for Sauce Gardner?
No, I did
not.
Right? No.
A first and a second for Quinnen,
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't trade him. They need a number 1 receiver for this quarterback. They got to give that quarterback everything that Sam Darnold didn't have, essentially, a playmaker.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Black Gypsy writes, a couple minutes left with Joe, so last chance to get your comment read. That game yesterday hurt my feelings watching May and Vrabel balling out, a 4-13 team, now 9-2. We have better players. Vrabel's a real coach. AG's trying, but we suck. The Patriots, Joe, have now won more games this year than they had the last 2 years combined.
Yeah, no, I know that.
I get it. Sickening. Sickening. Frank writes it. How is AG going to pick a QB in the draft if he can't even pick the best one currently on the team?
Well, hopefully Muhi's gonna overrule him. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Let's hope Muhi has. Let's hope he has more say than we think. Let's put it that way. And you never know. Look, Glenn could get lucky. You never know. I mean, let's be honest. So much of picking players in the draft is luck. Let's be real about it.
That's why I have no issue with taking 2 quarterbacks. Even Kyle Shanahan, who's an expert on quarterback play, they got it wrong with Trey Lance, but they got lucky. They also took Brock Purdy. Like, to me, that should be the approach. Take 2 this year. Why not?
Look, he's winning with Mac Jones at quarterback.
Right.
I mean, Kyle Shanahan could win with anybody at quarterback. He's one of the best coaches in the NFL. He's in the top 5. There's no doubt about it.
He's unreal. This one is from Michael, who super chats. It says, not that it broke the game, but I thought most of the snaps were low, and then the fumble. Myers did not have a good game last night. That's totally fair to say.
No, not at all.
Purple Belt Mike says, if they trade Garrett, I'll never come back. You can't trade Garrett Wilson. There's just no way. You need him.
You're not going to trade him. You can't say you're never coming back. Believe me, if I started to go through all my teams and the guys that they let go over the years, I would never root for my teams anymore. Just look at the Mets. I mean, don't get me started on it. I can
are they going to re-sign Pete? Do you think they do?
They better freaking re-sign Pete. They better. This better not be Darryl Strawberry 2.0. I can tell you right now. And like I said, if Stearns lets him go, at least when he let Darryl go, Frank Cashin had won a championship already. Even though I couldn't stand him either. May he rest in peace. But Stearns has won nothing. I mean, let's be honest about it. He better bring Pete back. I'm sorry. Pete better be a Met for life. I mean it. And I'm worried about Diaz too. They asked Diaz, and he can't put a lot of stock in that either. But they asked Diaz if he's coming back. He said it's 50-50.
I mean, it comes down to money, right? Who pays him the most money?
No, everything is money. You know that. Everything is money.
Hennessy writes in, don't worry, Joe. We will win week 16 and week 17. I do think this team is going to win another game or 2 before it's all said and done.
Yeah, no, they will. Look, you look at the schedule. I look at it this way. They got 7 games left, 4 of the 7 are winnable. Atlanta's winnable. Miami's winnable. Jacksonville's winnable. New Orleans is winnable. So I look at that. They got 4 games that they can win. They're not winning in Baltimore. I doubt they're beating the Bills or the Patriots. So you got 4 games that are winnable left on the schedule.
Well, the good news is the Bills will probably, given how they played this year, need that game in Week 18. Because my big fear was the Jets will have a chance to get this top 3 pick and they'll win a meaningless game in Week 18 and it will knock them down. It looks like Buffalo, because of their struggles this year and the way New England's playing, they're going to need to that game. And that, to me, is a good thing for the Jets. Because if we get to Week 18 and there's a chance to get a top 3 pick, Joe, I know you want to win, but at that point, I'm all for losing that game. It does no good to win Week 18.
I still think it's all overrated as far as where you pick. It's who you pick, not where you pick. Fans get too hung up on that. You got to pick the right guy. And we don't have time to go down the litany of quarterbacks who were not the first pick in a draft. I mean, let's be honest about it.
Renzel's watching on Twitter. He says, if you're blaming Glenn on this loss, you're really losing your mind. It's not just Glenn. Obviously, it starts with Fields. But once again, I think the criticism of Glenn is, how do you not make a change at quarterback in this game?
That's the criticism. Not that he didn't have him ready to play. That's not the answer. The thing is, he's so committed to Fields. That's the issue. That really is the big issue. The team is playing. They're playing for him. It's not like they're not trying. They're out there playing hard. No doubt about it. They didn't embarrass themselves last night. But it's all about not wanting to go and make a switch at quarterback. That's what it comes down to.
Yep, I totally agree. All right, Joe, what does a Sunday without Jets football now look like for you? Watching all the games? You football out?
I'd like to play golf. I mean, I saw where it's going to be 52 on Sunday. I don't have any great desire to watch the Giants, especially now that Dart's not playing. I don't really care.
You're not excited about Jameis Winston starting Sunday?
No. He's better than what we got. I'll tell you that.
For sure.
But anyway, I do have interest in the Denver Kansas City game. I have to say, I will watch that game. I have interest in that game. So, and then and if that game goes south, I'll watch the red zone. But hopefully I can play golf on Sunday. Maybe we can get out there even if it's for 9 holes. We'll see.
What does the temperature have to be for you and Terry to go out there and play golf?
Well, I saw that where the high is going to be 52. It's not so much the temperature. The 2 biggest factors are the sun being out and wind. If there's no wind, then it's 50 degrees and the sun is out, you can play. If it's 50 degrees and there's no sun and the wind's blowing, that's a different story.
I like it. I hope you get out there, Joe. You deserve it. You've dealt with a lot of pain. Hopefully, you get a nice weather day Sunday for you.
Nothing but pain. I'm going to go for one of my walks right now. So I'm gonna try to loosen up out there walking, bro.
But you still doing some dancing on the walk, or
I dance I don't dance when I walk, but you know me. I told you I got more moves than X-Lax, bro. At 72 years old, I can shake and bake it with anybody.
I didn't get a chance to download it because I wanted to play it for you, but I got to say, I was listening to the podcast. Your Frank Sinatra, karaoke at the end of the pod was just sensational. So shout out to you for that.
Thank you. That was the New York. That
yes.
was that one?
Yeah.
Well, there was a reason I was singing New York.
I know.
I know you know what the reason is. So we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
Joe, have a great weekend.
Start spreading the news, bro. I'm leaving today. There'll be a lot of people that'll be doing that. They'll be leaving New York, not going there.
Joe, you're the man. I appreciate you hopping on. Everyone check out the Paid Out later today.
You got it, bro. All the love. Be good.
All the love. Joe B, it is weekly spot following the latest Jet debacle. Click the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We're giving away a Jets jersey of your choosing at the end of the stream. Klecko, Namath, Curtis, Wayne Corbett, who I had on the show yesterday, so check that out if you want the full interview. Darrell Revis, Nick Mangold, and I got another one for you, Keyshawn Johnson as well. So got a bunch of great jerseys that are up for grabs if you want, so check it out. If you're just tuning in, Jets now picking 3rd in the Tankathon standings. This order is going to change a million times. Remember, the Jets play the Saints later on in the year. I think Tennessee also plays the Saints. Teams that definitively need quarterbacks. New Orleans, maybe. I still would say yes. We'll see how Tyler Shuck looks the rest of the way. The Jets, duh. Not the Giants. The Browns, I would say yes. I don't think they believe in Shador or we know what Dylan Gabriel is. Vegas, yes. Miami, maybe. Tua is still under contract, making a ton. I think that will depend on who the coach is. Washington, no. So I think the Jets, with their ammunition, are in position to get wherever they want. You could say you don't want to trade up. That's great. I think their plan is to trade up if they have to. I think that was the thing they sold Woody on by making these deals. I don't think Woody Johnson signs off on the Jets making these trades that they made for Sauce and Quinnen if they're not going to use the draft capital from those deals with the intention of taking a quarterback. And that is the biggest thing that the Jets need to be focused on, taking a damn quarterback. Load up your calls on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. The link is pinned in the comments. Shorter show than normal today, but you do get 2 more hours of me on ESPN New York this afternoon from 1 to 3. You can watch it on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. Before we get to your calls, right now, let's talk about today's sponsor, Manta Sleep Mask. As maniacs, let me tell you about something that has been an absolute game changer for sleep. If you're someone who struggles with noise, light, or just shutting your mind off at night, you need to check out the Manta Sleep Sound Mask. This thing is basically blackout sleep heaven with comfort speakers that are built right into it. Here's what makes it special. First, it has Bluetooth headphones built in, but the speakers, they are ultra thin, so you can listen to music, white noise, a meditation, a show. You could do it without painful earbuds or bulky headphones. Second, it's true blackout. No street light, no morning sun, no distractions. And the fit is completely adjustable. It's super soft, so it stays in place all night long. Does not put any pressure on your eyes, your ears. And what I love the most about it is that it solves all your problems all in one. You get darkness, you get audio, you get comfort, you get the perfect setup. So no more juggling earbuds, a mask, a machine. It's perfect for side sleepers, travelers, light sleepers, or anyone who just wants a deeper, better sleep. And here's what you do. You go to mantasleep.com, check out the Manta Sound Mask along with their full lineup of sleep products, and make sure you use my promo code Asman, my last name. Use that at checkout and unlock 10% off your purchase. That's promo code Asman for 10% off. Get some real sleep. You will thank me later. Shout out to the Manta Sleep Mask for helping me sleep better after depressing New York Jet losses. Shout out to Manta for supporting the Jake Asman Show. I slept like a baby last night. Didn't get to bed till like 3 a.m. once I was done editing the post-game show. So thanks to everyone who tuned in late last night and everyone who's tuned in again today. We're going to get to your calls coming up. Reminder, we are a podcast as well. So if you ever want to listen to the show on the go, when we're done live on YouTube every day, I post every single show as an audio podcast on either Apple or Spotify. Let's say hello to Tony Stark, who is first up today on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. What's up, Iron Man?
What up, Jake? Finally made it back on the show, man. So, right quick, man, I might take a few minutes, man, but I agree and disagree with a lot of stuff you and Joe B saying. All right, first and foremost, right? I don't want to see Tyrod. Okay, we already know what Tyrod is. Let's just try Cook out there. You don't know what he is.
What if
It's
Cook
kind
is
of
not
hard.
ready to play without knowing because we're not at practice? What if he's not ready?
I mean, I understand that, Jake, but can it get any worse?
No, I don't think it can. So I see your point. I don't hate the idea. I just think like the players know who the best quarterback is, right? So I think you kind of
Right.
got to go to Tyrod first because let's be real. Tyrod was starting the Bengals game if he was healthy. He wasn't healthy. Maybe Tyrod is still not healthy enough to make it through a whole game, and that's why Glenn is so insistent on sticking with Fields. I don't know. That at least would make him look a little better. But if Tyrod's the number 2 like he was last night, he's healthy enough to come in and play. Otherwise, just like the Bengals game, they would have had Brady Cook be the backup, not Tyrod.
I got you, Jake, but I want to see the kid, man. Let's just see what we got. Like I said, man, we're 2-8. Let's just see what we have. Secondly, I just don't understand how we come up with this magnificent opening drive. We get the ball back and we do the complete opposite of what we did to score. Like, let the Patriots show you that they can stop whatever it was we were doing on that drive. I mean, some of us play Madden, right? If you playing a opponent in Madden and you're running the play and they can't stop it, you run the play until they show you they can stop it. Very, very basic. Don't overthink it, is what I'm saying. Uh, there was something else I wanted to get to, Jake, that's escaping my mind right quick, man. Other than I love the show and keep doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you, Tony. Call in more. All right. We missed your calls. You're a great caller.
All right, Jake.
Appreciate you, Mr. Tony Stark, aka our guy Iron Man. Hey, if you're watching live, 800 of you in here, please click the like button. No one has gifted a membership to this point, which is just shocking to me. So here's what I'm going to do. How about 5 memberships right now to get you in our jersey raffle at the end of the show? But if you want one, here's what you need to do to get one. You got to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and you got to engage in the comments, live or after the fact. And the algorithm will reward you potentially with a gifted membership. It is randomly selected. So that is the best way to get one. So I'm going to gift one coming up. We'll give people a chance watching on delay to get caught up. Make sure you have in the settings that your account is eligible to receive a gifted membership. And speak of the devil, Black Gypsy just sent in a membership. He's the first to do it. So he's in our raffle for one. Let me remind people that we do a weekly raffle on Tuesday. So if you don't want a daily prize, perhaps you win a weekly prize. This is raffle number 49. That's right, 49 since we started this. And we have 3 great prizes that are up for grabs on Tuesday. It is a signed Darrelle Revis helmet. It is a signed C.J. Mosley helmet and a jersey signed by LaDainian Tomlinson. So keep that in mind for those of you just tuning in. Let's get to more of your calls right now. It's over for Fields is on the line. He's next. Hello, it's over for Fields. Or no, that's Renzel. It said a different name. Renzel, you're actually on the air. That was weird.
Oh, what's up, Jake?
What's up,
Why you said
Renzel?
it's over for Fields. Where do I have that at?
You didn't. The StreamYard just glitched as I was clicking on someone who now was not even on the air. I guess he left at the exact time I was about to click him, and then it slotted you over to his slot and brought you on the air. So you're on the air, Renzel. What do you got?
What's going on, man? Well, honestly, Jake, I liked how the team played yesterday. I honestly thought, as you saw, I was right on chat. I thought we could actually pull it off. But hey, we jetted. But I actually like how the team played. I don't blame any of this on AG except for the fact that maybe he can make a quarterback change. But there has to be something else going on that we don't know about. Like, it's either Tyrod it's not healthy enough to run the offense the way they want to run it with the with the threat of the quarterback running, or like Willie Colon brought it up yesterday. Maybe it's a bigger picture going on, and they just want to be competitive but still lose to get like a way to tank. That's the only thing that I can defend. Like that's the only thing I can come up with to even think of why he hasn't made the change. And also, it was a 4-day, 4-day. It was a short week, so it would have been. It's not hard because Tyrod is a 15-year veteran. It shouldn't be hard for him to come in and on 4 days and go in the game. But anything else doesn't make sense. Besides that, like I said, I liked how the team played, man. I mean, this team is a different team from what it was in September. Like, can we all agree with that? Like, AG has this team playing. They're playing for him. They believe in the message. If you listen to the players' interview, they all bring up, oh, we love the messaging that AG is giving us. We believe in that message.
They said the same thing last year for Salah and Ulbrich, though, Renzel.
I really don't think that. I think I don't remember. I don't know if you remember the game after London. You remember what Quincy said in that interview? He was like, "We're tired of hearing the same old BS." That I think that's what really got Salah fired. I don't know if you remember that, but Quincy was very vocal on that. Like he was tired of hearing the same old BS.
Let me ask this to you, right? Because I agree. Sure, the Jets, I think, are now in a spot where they're not the worst team in the league, and it looked like at 0-7, the only team in the league without a win, the team that went the longest without a win. It looked like, wow, are we watching the worst team in the league? We actually had people calling in, taking bets with me that they were going to go winless. I made $200 off betting that the Jets would not be 0-17. That's how bad it looked. So yes, there's clearly been some improvement, but they're still bad. They shouldn't be 2-8 overall. They haven't beaten a good team yet this year. Their head coach, you said, my criticism would be he could have benched Fields. That's a big criticism, man. If your head coach doesn't have a feel for the quarterback position, that's not a small thing.
And that's another thing that I hardly disagree with you. And I don't like when you say it. When you say, oh, and it's not just you, a lot of people, oh, how can we trust Glenn to pick a right quarterback when he chose to pick Fields and said he was going to coach him up. I mean, that happens all the time, Jake. Shanahan traded 3 first-rounders for Trey Lance, and it didn't work out. He got lucky with Brock Purdy that fell into his lap, and it happened to work out. There's many of other Shane Steichen. He also chose Anthony Richardson. It didn't work out. Now he got Daniel Jones. He's balling.
Right, but those guys have proven more as far as being able to coach up quarterbacks. Like you look at Shanahan, he went to a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant. Look at the career he's had. He's now winning games with Mac Jones again. I could go chapter and verse of what O'Connell has done. Steichen was a win away from going to the playoffs with Gardner Minshew 2 years ago. Like these guys have all shown more than Glenn. Glenn's not an offensive guy. That's the concern.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. They have shown more, but I also agree we have to give him the benefit of the doubt. It was a dart throw, and it didn't work. I think
it doesn't concern you the way that he spoke about Fields, though, the way they just handed him the job, said he's never been coached right. We're going to let him play quarterback, and he's never been worse.
I agree with that. He's probably been worse. I don't know what they're telling him. Maybe they're telling him, just don't turn the ball over. Maybe they're coaching him to be conservative, which is not the way to go. But I just want to give him the benefit of doubt because, you know what I'm saying? It was a dart throw. I just think that AG is so arrogant with the way that he believes that he can coach anybody up. And I just think he believed, maybe we can coach this guy up, let him play quarterback, and he can become, our next project. Baker Mayfield, Daniel Jones, all these other quarterbacks that has been coached up better, go into a different system and produce. And it just didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? Yes, that's AG's fault. He went that route. I mean, I don't know what other route we could have went with more upside in Fields. So I get it. Like he was talking very arrogant about him, and I really think
these are all concerns that I continue to raise and have though. And like I feel like where you disagree with me is you don't seem to think it's that big of a deal. I think it's a massive deal that these mistakes continue to happen. I think it's a big deal that the head coach, once again, in a game they're only down 7, despite the quarterback missing throws and having 23 yards passing at halftime, not only didn't make a quarterback change, clearly based on his comments after the game, never even thought about it. And that's what concerns me about Aaron Glenn now.
I don't know because I don't know if that's true because I don't know if you read Connor's tweet yesterday. Tyrod Taylor was warming up.
But then he never went in. He never went in. He put his helmet back on.
I don't know what happened there. Maybe he got talked out of it by somebody. I don't know. But Tyrod was warming up. And I think that's part of the reason why he keeps saying, don't ask me about the quarterback. I really think it's a week-to-week thing. And he's looking at
it should have been a half-to-half thing, though, Renzo. That's what I'm saying to you. I don't care. Okay, he doesn't get credit for Tyrod warming up. How do we know Tyrod was just, it's cold. I want to move around a little bit so I can break a sweat. That doesn't mean anything. It only means something if he comes into the game, which he didn't do last night. In a game that was, I don't think they would have won necessarily with Tyrod, but I think they would have had a better chance. You can't tell me you watched Justin Fields last night and didn't think they would have had a better chance.
I am not a Justin Fields fan. I don't know how these truthers keep defending him. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. But I don't know if you want you coming off 2 wins. Grant you, one of them was Justin Fields' greatest performance. One of them he didn't do anything. I just think he didn't want to change a quarterback after 2 straight wins. Yesterday it was only 7 to 14. After that first drive,
right, but they should have been down 10 if New England hit a field goal. You should have taken advantage of the opportunity. Yeah. Once again, you're in the game, just like you had a chance in London to win that, just like you had a chance in Carolina to win that. Now, it didn't work against Carolina, but you could see immediately Engstrand was calling a completely different offense than the one he was calling for Fields. So that's why I want to see Tyrod play the rest of these games here, or till he gets hurt, then go to Cook, so I can get a better feel for who he is as a play caller.
Well, I will give you this. If we do want to evaluate the rest of the roster, AD Mitchie, which had a great game, and Isaiah Williams giving more rep, Arian Smith. I do agree that we should get Tyrod in the game so he could give us a better eye at these players to see what they really are. I can't even defend him. Honestly, I'm trying to come up.
You don't have to defend it then, Renzo. You're allowed to be critical of the head coach of your favorite football team. It doesn't make you a bad fan. Trust me. I think people like this show because I'm honest. I give my honest opinions. You could agree or disagree, but you don't have to be a fanboy. You could be critical of Glenn. He has not done a good job, and I'm hoping he does better because I don't think he's going anywhere, and he's only 10 games in. I think we could be fair.
Yeah, well, so let me ask you this, Jake. Let me ask you this. Where do you think the team is playing better these last 3-4 weeks for him?
I think they have played better, yes, but I also think the bar is incredibly low if you just wanted them to play a little better. They were historically bad at the beginning of the year. They still, by the way, defensively are breaking records of ineptitude for not being able to have an interception and having one turnover on the year through 10 games.
Well, that I believe that falls on AG because he hired Wilkes. I believe
And
Wilkes.
Glenn's a defensive coach, too. Like, say whatever you want about Robert Saleh, who ultimately should have been fired, probably not 5 games in, but was not a good NFL head coach. Robert Saleh's defense were so much better. So at least, even though he was not a great head coach, he was an expert on his side of the ball. What does Aaron Glenn really do well as a head coach so far? It's not time management. It's not
So
having a feel for the game. You want to say his team plays hard these last couple of games? That's the bare minimum, man. Where was the effort in a lot of these games at the
well,
beginning of the year? The
I
penalty problem people were saying was corrected, reared his ugly head in a big spot last night with 7 penalties, all seemingly coming in big spots in these games.
yeah, well, yeah, I mean, but besides yesterday, a lot of those penalties were on Brownlee. Same like the game before. He has fixed the penalty issues. He has fixed the dumb penalties, which is the biggest thing. He has fixed that. I just think it's year one. He's getting better as within games. He's getting better as time goes. You can clearly see that
He's
getting better
improved,
with
but that
time
doesn't make him a
management.
good head
Yeah,
coach.
yeah, but we don't know. Jake, how can we know if you're going to be a good head coach 10 games in? I mean, it's just impossible.
We don't
Like,
definitively know, but we have evidence that points to the fact it's not good. I mean, he'd be an outlier if he turns this around and ends up being a great coach. Everyone's gonna
yeah,
say Dan
Jake, but
Campbell. That's
there's a
an
lot of
outlier.
there's a lot of coaches that have uh, a lot of success year one and then spiral out of control and become
Okay,
shit. Look at
great.
Daboll.
But the Jets
Look
haven't had
at
success, period, in 10 years. So I'll worry about the success in year one and then spiraling out of control if we actually had a winning season for the first time since Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's on the Amazon desk last night, was playing quarterback.
yeah, but what good does that do for us, Jake? That the
What
first
good
year
does
he's
being
awesome
2-8
and then
do?
he just spiraled out of control. What good
Great.
does that do?
Okay, so we're debating like what's worse, being good for you than being bad or just being bad. I don't care. I want this team to figure it out, and I right now have very little confidence in the head coach figuring it out.
I'm with you. I just think that we should give him more than this year. We should
He's
not.
getting time. He's not getting fired. I don't know how many times I could say that. I don't know how many times I could say I hope he shows signs of improvement and gets better because I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's convinced Woody he has this master plan to have this sustained winning, and Woody's buying it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, well, whatever. Hoodie, yeah, like I said, Woody, whatever he did to Woody, I don't know what the hell he convinced him with. He must be a great great talker. He got to be political in some way because AG knows how to talk. But whatever. Besides the case, all I'm saying is, I really think the team is going in the right direction. There needs to be a few tweaks going into next year. Wilkes needs to be fired.
A lot.
Wilkes needs to be
That's a
fired.
big tweak. Dude, your criticisms of Glenn, you act like I point out them and they're big deals and you don't like that. But then you're like, yeah, you're right. But, it's a couple things here or there. These are big things that you're talking about. Like I am talking about them like they're a big deal because they are. You're like, there's a few tweaks, he could have benched the quarterback last night. They need a new DC.
Detroit, Campbell fired Anthony Lynn, a veteran OC, his first year. You gotta evaluate what went wrong this year. His
Right.
first year, he's gonna be better next year. He knows.
Do you think he will make these changes though? He's been pretty
Yeah,
stubborn with Fields.
I think because I think he came in with the right mindset that the offense that can work is the offense that they were trying to run with Fields. You got to give him credit for that. He came in with the right mindset that
they don't run that offense though. Last night was the first time we've seen Justin Fields take off that many times.
They ran that offense week one. They ran it in Miami.
They haven't run it since week one with the design runs for Fields.
True,
no, Renzo, the touchdown that Fields had against Miami, and I gave you plenty of time, so thank you for the call. The touchdown that Fields had against Miami was on a broken play, the 43-yard scramble. Come on. Justin Fields last night, he ran in this game more than we've seen him run in a long time, right? Like I bookmarked the exact stat. I'm trying to find it. Like Justin Fields, he last night, let's see, he had 28 rushing yards on the opening drive. He has not had more than 31 rushing yards since week 4. That was the Miami game when he had that scramble. So your stats are wrong there, Renzo. I get what you're trying to do. You're a fan of the Jets. You want to back the quarterback or the head coach. That's fine. I can't blindly back the head coach when it's been this bad. We'll give him credit when things improved. He gets credit for the 2 wins, even though they were against bad teams. Last night was a litmus test, and while they didn't embarrass themselves, I'm still going to not allow myself to not be critical of the coach who, in a winnable game, once again, did not make the change at quarterback that needed to be made. He didn't. You can't tell me they finally ran. They had the right idea with Fields. No, we didn't. And how about this asinine quote from Mr. Accountability after this game? Quote, we can't put Justin in a situation where he's a running back. And I think we all know that because we're putting him in harm's way. Well, you can't put him in a situation where he has to be a drop back quarterback either because he can't do that. So come on. That's crazy to me. Neil with a super chat. Let's not waste draft picks. Load up the team. Go get Kyler Murray. We have the playbook for a running QB. At least he could throw. Neil, I understand why you like Kyler because you've seen him have good numbers before. He's always hurt. His body continues to break down. He has an enormous contract. And I don't want to give up even if it's like 1 second-round pick for him or whatever. I really don't. I want to draft a quarterback. The only guy I would be interested in trading for is Joe Burrow, if he's even available, which I have major reservations about. I don't think Kyler Murray's awful, but I don't want a quarterback who's breaking down and is making the kind of money he's making. Like, the contract, you'd be, what? You'd essentially have Kyler Murray through 2029? I'd have to look at when you could get out of it, but he'd be on your team for 2 years. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. People might disagree with that. I guess it would depend on the cost, but I'm good on Kyler. I want to draft our guy. That's where I'm at. All right. I'm gifting 5 memberships right now. Right now, we only have 1 gifted membership, so 5 more people are about to be entered in the Asmaniac raffle. This is going to be a bit of a shorter show because I got radio at 1 o'clock today, and I got to get into the studio. But ladies and gentlemen, 5 gifted memberships from yours truly. Hit it.
I'm gonna do my silly dance cause yeah, I'm built like shit. We'll have a quarterback playing. Rich has all the answers. So you should act dictionary. Our team is lurking.
Jets are not lurking anymore. We're not going to make that graphic this week. Ladies and gentlemen, D-Man, Liam DeFranzo, Luis Antonocci, Sam Massaro, who was at the Islander game in Vegas last night, watching the Jets on his phone. He sent me a photo on Instagram. Great win by the Islanders last night. They're playing great. They are all in our raffle at the end of the show. Ryan McCarthy, thank you, sir. I saw you just gifted a channel membership as well. Appreciate everyone supporting the community. You're in our raffle for 1. Let's get to your remaining calls here. Let's say hello to Paul, who's next. What's up, Paul?
What's going on, Jake? Been a
Paul,
while.
What do you got for us, my man?
Just same frustration, but I'm trying to be more optimistic again because I guess we have no choice, right? I mean, we have to look to the future again, but just a couple things with the whole quarterback scenario. I just wonder if Tyrod's a little more hurt than they think, and it's just reminded me of our same problems with the quarterback position that we always seem to like. Maybe they really are putting the best option on the field, or at least that's what they feel. Putting Fields out there, same shit as last year, but like the whole quarterback thing, like people are talking about Murray, they're talking about getting Prescott and I don't know. I mean, I know how high you are on Cincinnati's quarterback, but it kind of makes no sense to me because we're down on AVT saying he's injury prone all the time. You just said that Murray doesn't have the frame and he gets hurt all the time. Well, it's kind of the same thing with Cincinnati's quarterback.
Well, a couple things, Paul. 1, I don't think Joe Burrow is going to be traded. And 2, the difference is Kyler Murray is like good at his best. Joe Burrow at his best is a top 3 player in the sport who's already been to a Super Bowl with a terrible offensive line and has been the only quarterback in the AFC that has actually beaten Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. So I'll take my chance on that guy, having my position locked up for a guy who feels like he's built to play in New York, and the offensive line is already in place for him. So at least you would have that. Do I think any of this happens? No, I want the Jets to get their own guy in the draft. I think that's the path. But that's the only quarterback I'd be interested in trading for because people are going to throw out Dak and Kyler Murray and Trevor Lawrence and some of these guys that I just don't think are that good. I don't want a Brock Purdy if they go with Mac Jones and try and unload that contract. I don't want those guys. I want either Burrow or someone in the draft. That's where I'm at.
Fair enough, because he is a unique talent when he's healthy, and you can take a chance that he's just had some bad luck. He's still pretty young.
He's 29 years old, man. He's 29.
Yeah.
Like last year, he had one of the great seasons you'll see from a quarterback. His defense was just so bad. It's why he didn't win the MVP, and the team was 9-8. Look at the numbers he put up.
And if you look at Flacco still balling, right? You could hope that we could get 10 years out of him if we did, but I don't think it's going to happen either, personally. And, I definitely agree with everyone that we should not just draft one quarterback. We need to draft another one. We need to draft two. And my last question to you is a little brain fart, but the whole quarterback thing, we know how important it is, and that's why we said to draft several. But like, what's your thoughts next year? Like, because we can't do what we did this year, and we can't run Fields out next year while we wait for our quarterback, whoever it's going to be, to develop. Tyrod, is he on his last year of his contract? I know we got Fields for.
Yes, he is. Fields is under contract. Brady Cook, Tyrod's a free agent. I think Fields, if he's here, he's competing with a bridge and a rookie. It's kind of like the Giants quarterback room with Russ Winston, and then they drafted Dart. That to me is the only scenario Fields is here. Maybe they try and see if they could get a team to trade for Justin Fields. Maybe the Ravens want a backup with a similar play style to Lamar, who's been banged up this year. Something like that. Maybe the Jets have to attach a pick to unload the contract. I don't know. I don't, gun to my head, I don't think Justin Fields is on the roster next year, but we'll see.
Yeah, but we got to at least get somebody that really is a solid backup.
Gardner Minshew is my early choice for the bridge to be with the rookie.
I like that thoughts. I'm gonna jump off. Thanks again, and I'll pop a couple memberships out when I get back on YouTube. Thank you, brother.
Paul, great to hear from you, my man. Great call as always. Wish B, speaking of memberships, he gifted 5 channel memberships. Oh yeah. If you got a membership from Wish B, make sure you thank him. I just mentioned Sam. He gifted a channel membership. Thank you, Sam. More of your calls right now. Home stretch of the show. I got to wrap up in just a bit. Plus, we still got to do the raffle. Taylor from Connecticut is next. What's up, Taylor?
Jake, what's going on?
What's up, man? One of your super chats I can't get to, but I saw what you wrote, so don't worry.
I got the point. This is a funny joke.
Yes.
Whatchamacallit? I'm very interested to see. I forgot which caller brought it up, but it's a great comparison, the Anthony Lynn, Steve Wilkes comparison, because you understand why they brought him in. Ex-head coach, help with that kind of stuff. Help through the growing pains. Like, the idea is good, but if they're clearly, not getting it done, AG's got to have the balls, and that would show, a lot, and hopefully Dan Campbell, since he calls everybody, hopefully Dan Campbell can say, hey, we did this in Detroit. Maybe you should get rid of Wilkes, get a younger up-and-coming defensive coordinator. Because
or maybe Aaron Glenn should call defense for his team.
All right, so that's what I was about to say. Somebody said
Miko Ryans does it. Like I don't know. I don't understand why these head coaches, like, if you got the job because of your prowess on that side of the ball, maybe you should step in. Like, just an idea as well.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea. And somebody said that to me, and I was like, I get it. And
you see what Dan Campbell did this year, by the way, Taylor? Sorry, I'll let you finish.
Yeah.
But remember, Dan Campbell he literally just took over the offensive play calling in Detroit because he felt like his team needed that. Like, that's a head coach. Your job is to be a problem solver. So maybe to help solve this problem, Aaron Glenn calls the defense for the defense he wants to be next year.
I think maybe for the rest of the year do that. I just think the way AG has struggled with the game management and stuff, that he might get Ulbricht if he starts calling the defense, and then his overall head coaching starts to take a hit. And I don't want that. I want him to keep progressing with the game management stuff. But maybe for the rest of the year, I actually saw a meme. It was Dan Campbell calling plays, and it was like Dan Campbell McVay. Made me laugh. The other thing with John Simpson and the O line, I would sign, re-sign all three of those the interior guys. But my plan would probably be to have ABT start if he's healthy and have Simpson as a backup because his pass protection and just overall blocking this year has been, at least to me, watching on TV has been subpar. A lot of the times it's either him or Myers getting blown up. I would probably try and draft a center or sign a center if there's any available. Everybody keeps saying Linderbaum, but that's a pipe dream if you ask me. Why would the Ravens not re-sign him? Or tag him, whatever it is. But I would be looking to replace Simpson on the line. He can stay. I know he's something about his wife is in the area, so he likes to stay here. But I would be looking to try and upgrade him. And the 80 Mitchell drops last night, driving me up a wall. Fields can't complete a pass or hit the broadside of the barn, and the couple times he does, Mitchell drops him. It's the only way it works for the Jets. But that's all I got, Jake. Appreciate you.
Taylor, appreciate you, man. Good call. We'll see with Linderbaum. I'm not convinced that the Ravens, one of the smartest front offices in the league, would let a guy that good go. He's available, sure, but we'll see. Paul, who just called in, a man of his word, gifted 5-channel memberships. Voice of Reason, EA, Cartman, Chico Andretti, and Joe the Jet all receiving a channel membership. Let's continue with your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, warning.
Warning, warning, Allen alert. Shit's about to get ugly, folks. Warning, Allen alert. Hide the children.
What's up, Jacob? A couple of comments. First of all, if dealt, Murray would be $35 million on the cap for 26, and in 27 would be $43 million, but you can get out of the contract, and it would only cost us $7 million dead. So that's how the deal would work. It would be 35 next year, 43 and 26. But if he stinks next year, you can get out of the contract at $7 million dead. So
that's not terrible. I still don't think I want Kyler Murray, though.
It's not terrible. I just
think if they made that move, I still would want them to draft a quarterback in the first round this year.
He's so small. He's so fragile.
He's always hurt. He's always hurt.
Blow on him, he falls down. Couple of comments. First of all, I love AVT as a player enough. He's gotten hurt so many times. And again, it's best if he moves on. I don't understand why people think he's going to come back and be a healthy player. He's been hurt 3 times. Enough. Let him go back to the West Coast. He can sign a 2-year deal with the Chargers. Maybe
who's giving him a 2-year deal? Look at someone like the money for guards. It's like $7 million or less for guys like that.
He's not coming back to the Jets. He's not.
I don't know if the Jets even want him back, but if the Jets said, hey, we're going to bring him back on a 1-year prove it deal and we're drafting someone anyway, I think that's not the worst idea.
Yeah. Okay.
If they move on, I'm not losing sleep over it. Unfortunately, he's a good player, but he hasn't been able to stay on the field.
So I'm listening to Renzel's call, and I just have to shake my head. I don't know how anybody could watch the Jets and think a tweak is all the Jets need. They need a lobotomy to help this team, honestly. There's no tweaks that are going to help this team, okay? It's not true. I don't understand why people think there's so many holes on this team right now. There are. I understand their offensive line is almost set. They have 2 really good young tackles. But if you look around the field, there are holes everywhere. Okay. So I don't understand why people really believe that a tweak is all this team needs. Also, this team needs a quarterback. I mean,
well, that's the biggest thing they need.
You can't say a tweak and not have a quarterback in mind. Okay. And as far as Justin Fields is concerned, he cannot be on the roster next year. He can't. As I mentioned, post 6-1 cut him. You save $10 million. Use that $10 million and find yourself a guy. You mentioned Minshew. I mentioned Brissett. Maybe you could trade for a Mills who's on the books for $7 million next year. And go that way. Again, you cannot have a young quarterback in the same room as Justin Fields. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. And it makes no sense. I understand the contract was ridiculous. $30 million made no sense. You right or wrong, you cut him. It's over. And again, as I mentioned, I think Brady Cook should start the Falcon game. You can give Justin Fields the Raven game. They're going to lose by 4 or 5 touchdowns anyhow that game. Let him start the Falcon game at home at 2-9, and let's see what we have for the last 6 games. There's really no need for them to throw Justin Fields out after next week. And if Tyrod's healthy again, I'd start him next week. But again, let Cook start the last 6 games, starting with the Falcon game, and go from there. It makes no sense. But again, to Renzel, they are not a tweak away from being a good team. They are not. They are way beyond that. You look around this team, there's so many holes. That's why they have all this draft capital, so they can fill those holes throughout the next 2 drafts, along with the $100 million in cap space they have this offseason.
Alan, I don't say this often, but good call. I agree with you. I think they're not a couple tweaks this year from like winning all these games. I think they got a coaching problem. I think they need a new defensive coordinator for sure. Starts obviously with the quarterback. The one thing that was apparent last night, the depth on this team, they got to drastically improve it this offseason, specifically on the defensive side of the ball. Michael Clemens continuing to play meaningful snaps is such an indictment of the roster, the defensive roster. It really is, folks. Like, you can't justify it. So the Jets this year, this includes the comp picks, are projected to have a ton of picks, right? We know about the 4 in the top 46. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 picks in total. Some of those 7th rounders mean nothing, but package some of them and move back up into the 6th. Package your 6th and move back up into the 5th. They need linebacker and safety depth and defensive edge depth 1,000%. Without question. All right, last chance to get in the raffle here. We got a couple calls left. If you're on hold, I promise I will get you in before we wrap here. Ladies and gentlemen, stop what it is you're doing and sing.
The first thing I want to do is throw water on the whole idea of Kyler Murray. You ever watch the show Breaking Bad?
Yep.
The character Mike says no half measures. That is the definition of a half measure.
Agreed.
Like, you cannot go out and trade for that guy, take on that contract. We're paying Rodgers next year. It has a good chance we might be paying Fields. I don't understand why we would go down that road. If you're going to trade for a guy, it's got to either be Burrow or another guy that you kind of wouldn't expect, where the circumstances just make sense. Say like Brock Purdy became available, for example. I don't think that's going to happen. Mac Jones would probably have to play wildly terrific down the stretch here. Maybe that's a situation where you might be able to get him without giving up premium draft capital. There'd have to be something that presented itself where you traded for a veteran and it made total sense, and it wasn't a half measure where you said this can be our guy long term, and we can forget about it and move on to building the rest of the team. After what we saw from Fields last night, I don't really want to see him anymore. Like, if you compare the lines, like not even 58% completion percentage. I think it was 4.5 yards per attempt from Fields. It's woeful. It's hard to watch, and yeah, I can't have it anymore. Like, it's upsetting to me personally. Like, it's just a matter of and that I think I was on Nick's show yesterday, and I was saying, if we can bring in Tyrod somewhere during the course of the game, and maybe establish a downfield throwing game, and maybe AD emerges, maybe we would have a shot in this game. Well, neither of those things happened, and one of those things was a choice that Glenn made.
That's what I'm saying, Kyle. That's what bothers me. And then afterwards, defending Fields, it's just, dude, what are you watching?
Right. And we
It
can't
better
do
be the only thing I could think of, and I will if this ends up being the case and we learn this, I'll be like, okay, that makes some sense. And I'll cut the head coach a break here. If Tyrod is just so unplayable, they think if he goes out there, he'll get hurt immediately. But I don't even know if that's the best excuse because he's the
Why is he
number
active?
2. Right. Why is he active? Because Brady Cook was active in Cincinnati because Tyrod didn't even make the trip because his knee was so banged up. So I have to take the Jets at face value that Tyrod, who's not on the injury report, who's the active backup, is available to play. And this is by choice that the head coach, who saw his quarterback again have 23 yards passing at halftime last night, still didn't go to him in a game they were only down 7.
Right. I'm not willing to write off AD after one game. It was a terrible game. But like when you throw the ball as few times as, ideally Fields will, you've got to make those connections. You can't be, throwing the ball outside of a guy and having him go across his body and his momentum. You can't be, missing guys wide open in the flat. You can't do that. He's not good enough. That's the bottom line. There's nothing we can do about Glenn for the foreseeable future. There is something we can do about the quarterback, and we have to start thinking seriously about that. Now, that could be 26, that could be 27, whatever makes sense, whatever opportunities are afforded to us, wherever we finish. Let's start building out the depth. Let's start building out the talent. We have the picks to do it. We have the cap room to do it. I trust Muji. I don't know if I can trust the coaching staff to develop the quarterback. I hope I can. I'll talk to you.
Kyle, as usual, and as always, basically, great call. I mean, I'm not going to completely rule out, Mitchell playing a role. But that was a tough debut. Mechie looked good, at least, if you want to find some positives. I know he was wide open on the touchdown, but he caught it. Right? Made up for the drop on the previous play by Mitchell. Rick Kent says handing Fields the starting job without any competition is crazy. Yeah, I mean, competition, right? Remember Joe Tippmann had to earn his job? But Justin Fields was just anointed the starter. It's fair criticism. Now, look, I know what Tyrod is, so you wanted to at least see what Fields, but he didn't even have to earn it. So that's fair. Ladies and gentlemen, he normally has 13 points. I do not have time for 13, but when he calls in, we got to get him on. Ladies and gentlemen, sing along.
Get ready for Neil. He will make 13 points about the New York Jets and maybe hump a Patriots jersey. Get ready for Neil. He's probably smoking a big fat cigar and burning his house to the ground. That's Neil.
Oh boy, back again. Jake, at least we don't have to be miserable on Sunday this week. I could go play golf and enjoy my Sunday, and that'll be good. All right, I'm retracting my Kyle Murray. I did look at the contract. It's pretty freaking rich, I got to tell you. So he's off the board. But, everybody will focus on the draft and the offseason. I'll find us a bridge quarterback. I promise you. I had Danny Dimes last year as my bridge, but nobody wanted him. I swear to God, I'll look up the show. I said Danny Dimes, and I got zapped off, including you. But forget.
I don't think it would have worked in the same market that he was just in, for what it's worth. But obviously, he would have been better than Fields, to be fair. So that's fine.
I don't want to take Purdy only because anybody that goes from Kyle Shanahan somewhere else, especially to us, is not going to look like the quarterback he was with the 49ers. Although Mac Jones, is competent, and Mac Jones could come pretty cheap. He might be a guy I want to put on the potential list, Jake, because at least
he's under contract, though. You'd have to trade for him. What are you giving up for Mac Jones?
Give him a fourth pick, a third. We got picks up the yin yang. I mean, we could give a couple of picks and maybe, I wouldn't trade the farm for him, but I think there'll be a quarterback, Jake. There's going to be somebody that'll be available, when the season starts. I mean,
I'm sure there will be, but I want to draft a quarterback right now.
we are going to draft one. We're going to draft one. Don't worry about it. But we need a bridge next year. We're not going to take a guy on the first round pick and throw him on the field like we do with every other quarterback.
If he's ready, maybe. I mean, I would sign Gardner Minshew. That's the one guy.
Yeah, Gardner is good. Like I said, at least with Mac Jones, if he shakes free, is somebody that at least will be able to play the Patriots well. And he has a good, he could process. He knows how to throw the ball. He certainly looks pretty good on the 49ers. He doesn't look horrible. He'll win a few games for us, Jake, but we can't have Justin Fields back. I want to make him a Taysom Hill, but he doesn't want to run. I mean, if the guy doesn't want to run, what the frick good is he? I mean, he's such a good athlete, and he would be our second bet. He would be a great running back if he just would take off. I mean, if you made plays for this guy and turned him into a Lamar Jackson before Lamar Jackson learned how to throw the ball, we would have some good games with him. He just doesn't want to run. And by Glenn defending him not running, it just doesn't make any sense to me. They want to turn this guy into a pocket passer, and they think they're going to turn him into something. He just is not that guy. He doesn't process the field. He sits in the pocket, and he doesn't understand how to read a defense. It's so goddamn obvious that he just sits back there and he can't pull the trigger. He's got the yips. So we're going to move on from him. And, I don't care about money, 30 million, 20 million. I mean, if these other teams are sunk into these huge contracts, I mean, look at Cleveland. I mean, they're in quarterback purgatory because they signed Deshaun Watson. And, Danny Dimes had a big contract with the Giants. Did they lose money on that? I'm sure they're stuck for a lot of money with Danny.
It was only guaranteed for 2 years. The Jets can move on from Fields and bring in someone. It's not about money. They have cap space. They're fine.
We'll bring somebody in. One thing I thought about last night, Phillips, they had Phillips and the other guy, 91, on the field an incredible amount of time. What happened to Mozzie Smith? They should have brought somebody else in there. They didn't really rotate in any defensive linemen. These guys were gassed all game, and I didn't see Mozzie Smith one play yesterday. I watched, and I didn't see any substitution on the defensive line. And, that was a little bit of a mystery. But onward and upward, we're going to get ready for the offseason. And we'll see
Smith
what we
played 20 snaps, Neil, 30%. Briggs played 40, that's 60%. Harrison Phillips played 42, that's 63. Clemens also 42, that's 63. Jermaine 46, 69. And 67 was the total amount of snaps. Quincy played the most of any non-secondary. Actually, no, Sherwood played every snap at linebacker.
Listen, Quincy looked, is playing a lot better than he did prior to getting benched. He was one of the better players yesterday.
Yeah. They competed last night. I don't think they were well coached on that side of the ball. I think they played hard for Glenn and Wilkes, but I think the schemes are so basic. I mean, how many times do we have to see Steve Wilkes run man on 3rd and 4th down? There's no creativity to it. There's no exotic blitzes. There's nothing it just felt like they made life so easy for Drake, man. I mean, what did he start this game? 12 of 12 before he had an incompletion?
When they sent Quincy from the outside, I mean, if the cornerbacks can't cover, they should have done more corner blitzes. Every time they blitzed, it was up the middle. The Patriots blocked it up, and they took a while for them to get pressure. The one time they sent Quincy from the outside, he got to Mac Jones and sacked him.
There was a penalty, wasn't there?
Yeah, that's the penalty play. But,
yeah.
At least he had an open run at him. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, the confusion on the secondary. And, I see, the middle linebacker, Sherwood, he's going like this. It looks like every time there's a pass play, they're confused on who's covering who, what guys are playing where. It looks like a disorganized pile of shit. And that has to go on Wilkes. I mean, this guy Wilkes, he should be fired. I mean, bottom line.
Someone will be held accountable for this year. It's not going to be Glenn. I think Engstrand is probably going to be brought back. I think there could be some changes to the offensive staff. Maybe you hire a real quarterback coach to be your quarterback coach and not a running back coach who's doing it. But I just think we're at a point now where everything is in evaluation mode, and you can't even do that properly if Fields remains the starting quarterback on that side of the ball.
Yeah, I think like with Allen, I think I'm gonna go with him one more time, and then we'll look at the last few games of the season, and maybe Cook could turn into something decent. Maybe he'll be as good as you know, he'll be a good pile of trash. I wish we still had Martinez. I swear to God, I would be very happy with Martinez back there running around and throwing the ball, because he was competent in the preseason for 2 straight years, and we got rid of and we let him slip through our fingers.
Brady Cook outplayed him. That's why, apparently.
He didn't outplay him. He did not.
I mean, people that were at practice every day at training camp, like Robbie Sable, said Brady Cook was better at running their offense.
All right, then where is he?
I don't know. Maybe we see him. I think we see him at some point this year. I do.
Okay. I hope we see him. That'll be entertaining. Look, the game was entertaining yesterday. It wasn't a beat down.
You were entertained? I wasn't.
I was entertained for the first 20 minutes.
The opening drive. I mean, yeah,
Right.
It was a great opening drive. Angstrand, to his credit, had a great script. Fields executed, and they made some nice plays. I mean, that was the extent of the excitement. Then you saw the Jet defense go on the field in their first 2 drives. It was Swiss cheese.
That defense really needs a lot of work. I don't, Brownlee, one thing I forgot. Brownlee, when that guy fell down, he didn't even touch his jersey. Got up and ran for another 10.
I don't think that was Brownlee, though, right? Wasn't that the other guy that they brought in? Was that Brownlee? Someone in the chat would know.
Yes, I watched the game. I know who it was. It was Brownlee. He let the guy go.
I thought it was Jasir Taylor. No, was it Brownlee? I guess maybe it was Brownlee. I'm trying to remember. I try to erase that play.
Look, I watch it closely. I just, like I said, we got some work to do. Unlike
Brownlee had a terrible game.
Allen talking about how we need a entirely new roster, and look, we need some direction on defense. Brownlee, we got a couple of good players. AZ Thomas is, prior to getting hurt, looked pretty good. Malachi Moore looks pretty good. To me, he looks like he's a keeper at safety. They just, Tony Adams is too inconsistent. He'll come up with one play. And why the hell would Brandon Stevens made one pass breakup and he's sticking his freaking tongue out? I mean, give me a break. Get back to the goddamn huddle. You got roasted all game long. You made one play and you're sticking your tongue out to the Patriot fans. I mean, this is the kind of shit that bothers me. Play smart. And one last point. Vrabel, if you're watching the game, he's talking to the defense. He's engaged. He's talking to the offense. He's waving on the field. He's doing a lot of things. And Aaron Glenn's sitting there like a effing dope with his, headphones. He doesn't look like he's engaged with the team, during the game. If your defense is playing like shit, get together with Steve Wilks. Talk to these guys. I mean, unless he's doing it and we're not seeing it because we're watching it on television, but he doesn't seem engaged with the team, Jake. That's a problem. He's not engaged. He's too worried about coaching, things on the field, which he's not good at doing anyway. I mean, we had to call a timeout early in the game.
It was terrible, Neil. It wasn't good enough. They played hard, but that's the bare minimum. It's not good enough. All right, we are up against it. Ralphie in the raffle for 2. This is your last chance to enter for a jersey and to get in the weekly raffle. Worst thing a head coach could do is defend a guy we all see playing like crap. He'll lose the locker room and fans. That's why I think he's got to go to Tyrod for next week, but I don't know if he will. Mac Jones Bridge next. Hello.
Hey, what's going on, Jake? I know it looks crazy, but I'm telling you, I really believe in Mac Jones because.
So why would the Niners trade him given Brock Purdy's injury history? Why wouldn't they just keep him? He's under contract at a great rate for one more year.
Yeah, it makes sense, but if we could offer him a 4th or something, I'm just looking at it like this. When he played for the Jaguars, he was a lot better than Trevor Lawrence. Just look at Brian Thomas Jr., for example. BTJ was a top 5 receiver in his rookie year, and now he's not. He's like a top 25 receiver. I think Mac Jones is competent. He's closer to Jared Goff than Justin Fields is. I'm not saying he's like the greatest quarterback ever. Hell no. But I think as a bridge quarterback, I think he's a way better option than Kyler Murray. He's I just think he's better, and then it gives us the option to actually focus on like needs that we need with the team, like Arvell. I think Arvell Reese is the pick for.
I respectfully appreciate the call. I can't do Mac Jones calls right now on November 14th. And then we're not going to draft a quarterback, so we can take Arvell Reese instead because we have Mac Jones. Really? No way. I'm good on Mac Jones. He's under contract. I don't think the Niners are going to trade him anyway. You're not going to offer more. I don't even think you'd offer a fourth. How do we know he's not just a product of Kyle Shanahan? Well, we could call back in January. We could do the Mac Jones discussion. I can't do it right now. JJ next. Hello, JJ. You're the last caller, so let it rip.
That was funny because this guy's talking about Mac Jones. Wasn't Mac Jones in that same draft class as Zach Wilson and them? Or am I wrong on that?
He was. So let's all that's left if we sign Mac Jones or trade for Mac Jones is that eventually we got to get Trevor Lawrence and Trey Lance, and we've gotten all 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. Let's not even go down that rabbit hole. We already tried. It turns out that draft class was just not that great. Even with Trevor Lawrence, he's not that great of a quarterback. Everyone can make fun of me. I was wrong about Justin Fields. And, I was playing with him on Madden yesterday, and I unlocked him on Madden. Unfortunately, Tanner Anstring didn't unlock him in real life. I will say this, though, that he did show potential and flashes at times during the game. That one pass that A.D. Mitchell dropped on the deep ball on 3rd and 5 was literally a dime. You couldn't have placed that ball.
Deep balls. That's the one thing Fields I thought
exactly
coming in did well. But I don't think he wants to throw deep balls. I think he's so timid in the pocket. He doesn't process it well. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's the strange thing for him. It's so weird because, if he just opened it up and let it loose a little bit, I mean, my God, he could be such a better quarterback, but he refuses to. And that tells you that the mental is gone. And once the mental is gone on a quarterback, it's pretty much obsolete from there. I mean, we saw Sam Darnold look at times hesitant to throw and the seeing ghosts and all that stuff, but he was able to, regroup and go to a different situation and find himself. I don't see that happening with Justin Fields, so it's time to move on. I was completely wrong about Justin Fields. I don't mind being wrong about it. I'm just disappointed in the fact that, it's another Jets quarterback that has failed us. And I was rooting super hard for him because I just wanted this team to succeed. And I knew if our quarterback succeeded, then we would succeed. And that's where all my Justin Fields trutherism came. Part of it was trolling. Part of it was sincere. But I really, at the end of the day, just wanted to root for a good guy. He seems like a good guy, and I wanted him to do good. And obviously he hasn't.
I wish him well. Yeah. We're all happy he had the great moment in Cincinnati after what Woody said. It's just, he's just not. He'll have a career in the league. He'll be a backup somewhere. He's made a ton of money. It's just he's not a starter. We've seen enough. He's in this year.
And that's fine. And some guys got it, some guys don't, and that's fine. What I don't like is everyone bashing him after that game and acting like he was the main reason we lost. Because at the end of the day, and everybody could debate me on this if you want, at the end of the day, our offense scored 14 points, right? And we know we don't have a good offense, but we still put 14 points up against one of the better defenses in the league, one of the better head teams coached in the league. I mean, this head coach in the AFC behind only what's this guy, Andy Reid, right? He's definitely the best coach in the AFC East, if not, one of the best coaches in the AFC. So when we go out there and we expect to get blown out, I know some people were saying we're going to lose 42-0 and all that stuff. And our offense started off really strong. Credit to AG having them prepared. Credit to Tanner Anstrin having them prepared. But we went against one of the better teams in the league, and we were competitive for most of the game. I mean, in the fourth quarter, we were down by 10 with a chance to come drive the football down the field and score a touchdown and bring it within a one-possession game. And unfortunately, all game, those snaps were low, and it finally caught up to us. Justin Fields fumbled it. But at the end of the day, when you look at it, we were competitive with a really good team throughout the day. It's not about moral victories at all. But when you look at it, what really let us down yesterday was that defense. My gosh. Jason, what's his name? Jason Brownlee? Or that's not his name, is it? What's his name?
Brownlee.
Jarvis Brownlee, but he's related to the other Brownlee, right?
No. That Brownlee's not on the Jets anymore.
Well, I thought they were related somehow. But anyways, what the hell? I mean, at what point after penalty, and then the worst part about it was when he clearly did not touch the guy on the ground, and then he tried to act like he did, and he was arguing with the ref, I touched him, and he was nowhere near it. I mean, the awareness piece, he's holding on there was one, I think it was 3rd and 6, and we sent Quincy Williams on a blitz, right? And Quincy got to him quick, and he's sitting there holding. I mean, my God, like he just was causing penalty after penalty, extending drives. The defense had guys just running wide open throughout the whole game. I think the defense was the bigger part of why we lost yesterday. And at the end of the day, man, Aaron Glenn, you got to do something. Even if we had Quentin Williams, even if we had Sauce Gardner, I don't think they would have made a difference yesterday because they hadn't been making a difference all year. But that was just that was disgusting. That kind of pissed me off watching that defensive performance to give up 27 points to the Patriots. I mean, Drake May is pretty good, but to give up 27 points, I mean, and there was guys just wide open, even on that Travion Henderson touchdown reception where Jamie and Sherwood is supposed to be running with them, and then he just stops and gets his eyes on Drake May. Travion Henderson right behind catches the touchdown. It's ridiculous. Like we've seen that all year with Steve Wilks' defense, where people just don't know where they're supposed to be at the wrong time, and we give up touchdowns. So I mean, the season's a wash. So I don't even know why you guys are going so hard on. Oh, we need to do this, we need to do that. At the end of the day, I just want to see if Aaron Glenn can coach, and I want to see if he progressively gets better or if he progressively gets worse. I will say, yesterday we looked like a well-coached team for the first drive, for the first quarter, and then it started to fall apart. We started to pick it back up towards the end of the game, but overall, I think Aaron Glenn had the guys prepared on a short week, so that's a positive. I still want him fired at the end of the year because I said if we didn't win out, and this is a part of us winning out, I would want him fired. So I'm not ready to change my tune on that. If we can go get a big Mike McCarthy to come in and change this football team, why not? I don't see why we can look at Gerard Mayo get fired after 1 year and with the Patriots, and then they bring in an established head coach, and now they've turned it around so significantly for us.
Going to do it.
We're the freaking New York Jets. So we're shit.
I'll argue about this for the next 7 games, JJ. He's not getting fired. Only chance of him getting fired is if they lose by 30 these next 7 games and there's a locker room mutiny. He convinced Woody that he's got this master plan to rebuild the team. He got the approval to make the Sauce and the Quinnen deals. He's not getting fired. You just said it. They played hard for him. Woody's going to be like, oh, well, they're still playing hard for my guy. Remember when Woody was endorsing him? He blamed it all on Fields. Fields was terrible last night. It gives Woody more credence just to think Fields is the only problem. He's the biggest problem. He's not the only problem. I would love for the Jets to evaluate Glenn at the end of the year. And if they're sitting there at the top of the draft with a chance to get one of these quarterbacks and they think, hey, we need a coach that could coach that guy, and they moved on, I wouldn't criticize them for that. I think it would make sense. I don't think they're going to do it. So we have to root for Glenn to get better, and hopefully Engstrand, assuming they go to Tyrod, can continue to prove he's a competent play caller and the right guy to be with a rookie next year. That's all we have. Rooster in the raffle for 1. Dropping bombs in the raffle for 1. I have radio at 1 o'clock. I got to get to the studio. So right now, it's time to spin the wheel of champions, baby.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
It is epic today, folks. It is a Jets Legends jersey. You pick the player that you want the jersey in. If you win, you have to email me, asmanjake@gmail.com. Your name, your address, the player you want the jersey in, and the size you want it in. Again, good luck to all. Only one can win today. And that winner is Sam Rosario. Sam, congratulations. That's awesome, man. Hit the jet chat for Sam. Hit the like button if you haven't. Make sure you subscribe to the channel right over there. We're at over 43,000 subscribers. We did 10 hours of broadcasting yesterday. Basically another, 2 this morning. I'm going to go do 2 more on the radio, and we might have an afternoon show, so stick around for that one. I will talk to you guys later. If you missed Benigno, rewind to the beginning of the show. Again, thank you all for watching. Best fans in sports, best listeners. So grateful. One day this team won't stink. Until then, we all have each other. Go Jets, and I'll talk to you guys on ESPN New York from 1 to 3. As Maniacs, take over the comment section. Show them who's boss. Go Jets.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets.